Hey Kate, how you going?
Hi, I'm well, thanks, Anna. How are you?
Good, I'm really well. Lovely to have you back again. Today we have a great question. I'm excited about this one. I think there's lots of juicy information that you'll be able to give us.
Yeah.
Before we go into that, I would just love to ask you, what is it that you would love your friends and family who are perhaps not fully understanding of the non-diet space and diet culture? What is it that you would love them to know and understand?
Oh, okay. My big, thing that I share with people about diet culture is that it is born from an industry whose main aim is to make money from you by repeatedly selling you diets that don't work.
Whoa,
And
when you put it like that, so clear.
and
Wow.
to do that repeatedly,
Mm,
they prey on our fears and our insecurities.
yeah.
So not only does diet culture and the diet industry not support physical health because their diets aren't written with physical health in mind, but they actually are relying that certain parts of our mental health are fragile.
Mm,
So, like,
yeah.
it's not about health, it's about money. It's about
Yeah.
money and preying on your insecurities to make that money. Let's be really clear about
Yeah.
this. That's,
There's some big profits going on out there in the diet culture world. I
yeah.
don't know, do you know what the sort of the stats are around? I think it's like 60 billion US. I'm not sure what
Oh,
it is.
it's in the billions.
Yeah.
It's in the billions.
Yeah.
And the only reason it's that high is because and it wouldn't be that high if the first diet you went on worked, would it?
Well, that's correct, and
I
that's
mean,
why Weight Watchers. We know, we know that they
Weight
rely on that
Watchers.
repetitive business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do. How many, everyone knows someone, and it's probably a mother or a sister. It's probably someone a bit older actually,
Yeah.
who's been a Weight Watchers member for 20 years,
Yeah. Right. It's crazy, isn't it? When
or,
you think
or,
about
or
it like
goes
that.
back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of that problem is that the clients are blaming themselves for just not being able to follow the diet, not recognizing that the diets aren't designed to actually work long term. Our bodies aren't biologically designed to be in that starvation mode, in that deprivation mode.
No. And that's it. When they fall off the wagon of the diet, the first thing people say, and the first thing clients say to me is, oh, if only I had more willpower.
Mm,
I just need more self-control. I just need to get into a good routine
yeah.
and it will work. And
Yeah.
it's like, no,
Yeah.
it's not meant to work.
Can you imagine a world where more people did really understand this and recognize and see diet culture for what it is? So, I mean, that's part of what we're doing, right? And the kind of work we're doing is helping to spread
Yeah.
that message and help people to open their
Yeah.
eyes to it. Thank you for that. Let's
That's
get into
okay.
the question for this
Mm-hmm.
week. One of our dear members has anonymously shared this, and I'll read it out word for word. I've recently learnt that I have a health condition that could lead to problems such as diabetes or heart disease if not dealt with. And the only preventative treatment for me is to lose weight. How can I go about this in a way that is not damaging to my mental health?
Okay, there is lots going on here and lots I could talk about, and we would be here for hours.
Yeah.
What I'm not going to go into is the emerging evidence as we learn more about our complex biology
Yeah.
and how our environment and all those other factors that determine our health, the emerging evidence to show that the link between certain health conditions and weight is less clear. It's not clear what is a cause and what is a coincidence or a correlation. So I'm not going to go into that.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons I'm not going to go into that is because my clients who have faced this sort of similar situation with their health practitioners don't feel confident arguing this with their health providers.
Big one, yeah.
But perhaps for in every other aspect they like that health provider, but mentally they don't feel equipped to go into bat for that one.
Yeah.
So if for this person in this position, what can they bring to the table as being empowered in their health and having a conversation with their health practitioners And that's just the really clear, strongly evidence-based, and it's, most people have heard about this now, that, you know, the evidence that shows that 90 to 95% of diets fail, with the majority of diets regaining any weight loss and sometimes more within 1 to 2 years. And while they are doing that, they damage their mental health.
Yeah.
So if you know, if the advice is to lose weight, well, then a diet is not the way. Focusing on the weight loss is not the way. And that's something that can be clearly explained in a sentence to a health practitioner. Diets damage my mental health. You know, the research supports, and maybe, you know, a person's health history supports, that I'm most likely to regain this weight and more. Not doing it doesn't work for me, doesn't work for 95% of people. So that's something you can say with confidence. And, you know, there's some really clear studies which go, right, this is not working for me. What else can you say, or what else can you bring up with your health practitioner? Thin people get diabetes and heart conditions as well. What would their treatment advice be?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah. So if we take the focus on weight loss just out of the picture, what would the rest of that therapeutic plan be? And because you don't have to focus on weight to improve a health condition. There are so many healthy, sustainable or sustained habits without weight loss that can definitely improve health, that can definitely improve conditions like type 2 diabetes or heart disease. So let's talk about what some of those healthy behaviors are. Getting fruit and vegetables in your day. I say this to everyone, make sure they're different colors as well. Don't just, you know, go with the greens. They're delicious, but they've got great press. They don't need any more press. Different colors. Don't avoid potatoes either. So don't stay away from the white veg, and don't just choose your greens. You know, go for that
variety out there.
Yeah, go for the myriad of fruit and veg. Choose foods that are good sources of fiber. You know? We're not going to go into too much to why these help, but just think about, these are healthy habits that can definitely improve your health outcomes. Over the week, do some of your meals include vegetarian proteins rather than animal proteins? We know this correlates with a healthy longevity. Do you choose heart-healthy fats and oils like olive oil, avocado, nuts and seeds? Are they, you know, popping up in your day or week? Do you move your body regularly? Are you reducing and managing your stress? Now, this is super important. It just gets thrown away a bit. Oh, manage your stress. But it is one of the biggest causes of chronic inflammation, and chronic inflammation is one of the biggest contributing factors to cardiovascular disease. So this is huge. So they're your healthy behaviors. How do you make them sustainable? You choose the ones that you enjoy. You choose the ones that fit into your life. So you choose movement that you enjoy, that fits into most of your days.
Great suggestion. Absolutely.
You know, in terms of foods, you know, fruit and vegetables and foods that are good sources of fiber. Think about, you know, those tips as being big Venn diagrams. This is the circle of fruit and vegetables, and this is the circle of fruit and vegetables you enjoy. You know, where they overlap is hopefully where you're picking the majority of your diet from. The same with foods that are good sources of fiber. Here are all the foods that are good sources of fiber, and these are those foods that you enjoy. So you're looking at the overlap there. You know, don't choke back a carrot stick or a bowl of quinoa just because you think it's healthy for you. You know, there will be an overlap. It can sometimes, if you have been on the dieting, you know, wagon for a while, it can sometimes be hard to recognize which foods you actually like and dislike.
That's so true. It's a really good point.
Because you've probably been actively avoiding, you know, you're following a diet, you're eating what someone who doesn't know you is telling you what to eat.
Lost touch with that connection.
So this might take a bit of time of you actually going, oh, what are the foods I like and what are the foods I eat because I think they're healthy for me? you know, are there foods I actually avoid that I'd like to include in my diet? Think about also how you prepare them. Steamed veg can taste really good, but, you know, adding flavor is great. Roasting veg with olive oil and seasoning, salt and pepper, herbs, squeeze of lemon juice. You know, think about the foods you like and how to prepare them in a way that tastes delicious. You know, and if you don't like them, don't eat them, because incorporating these behaviors into your life in a way that you enjoy and is easy for you makes them sustainable. And we know that healthy habits that are sustainable, which is the opposite of a diet, which is designed, you know, to torture you for 8 or 12 weeks and then that's it.
Yeah,
you
then
know,
you're expected to miraculously maintain that somehow.
Yeah, you know, if we're talking long-term habits, not just what am I doing until I lose the weight, what am I doing that could fit in with the rest of my life?
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, those two things. What are those healthy behaviors? Sustainable. And think about that Venn diagram. There's going to be an overlap between what you like and what is health supportive.
Yeah, for sure.
And in that overlap, if your choices are mostly coming from there, you're doing great.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You know, and they won't always come from there.
Yeah, that's fantastic. One little point that I just thought of, talking about stress, you know, that's really come up so much in all our conversations with all the professionals. And I think it's, you know, it just goes to show that, you know, the fundamental kind of self-care behaviors that are often referred back to, which are, you know, are you getting decent sleep? Are you hydrating your body? Are you getting some, you know, some sorts of fruits and veggies and foods that are nourishing into your diet? And do you have a healthy relationship with food as well? And what's your stress like? All of these kind of basic health supporting behaviors. I mean, that's what it all comes down to ultimately, I think, in so many cases. And something that I just thought of was talking about stress. If somebody has had a negative relationship with food, or have had a history with dieting and have had any, you know, negative repercussions from that, disordered eating, a full-blown eating disorder, there can be a really high level of stress attached to eating. So, and going on a diet. So if this person has been told to lose weight, and weight loss, or what they associate with weight loss dieting, holds all the stress for them, this can just exacerbate the conditions, right? And I think stress has so much to do with these conditions, rather than it just be about weight. It can be so much more to do with stress and our relationship with food. And that's what annoys me about weight-centric medical models, is that there's just no understanding of relationship with food and how that impacts on somebody's overall health, and weight stigma that has such a negative impact on somebody's health.
Absolutely. I see lots and lots of clients with anxiety, and most of those have, you know, most of my clients have histories or are currently dealing with, you know, disordered relationship with food. And one of the first things I ask them is, how much of your anxiety is actually caused by your relationship with eating?
Yeah.
And sometimes, you know, we just fix that first, and, you know, so many other things fall into place. But, you know, one of the biggest, I mean, chronic inflammation is a huge factor in cardiovascular disease, but with type 2 diabetes as well, you know, heightened chronic stress triggers your insulin release. And each time it's triggered and your body has to respond, your body gets slower in responding to it. Because if they hear the same thing all the time, and I talk about insulin being like that mum who comes out and tells the kids what to do, if, you know, get in the muscles, or, you know, get into the bloodstream or whatever, you know, there comes a point when the kids just sort of go, oh yeah, whatever, it's the same message all the time. And then it takes more mothers coming out, you know, yelling the same thing. You know, if you're suffering from chronic stress, that's a huge factor in insulin resistance.
Right. Yeah.
Much bigger than, you know, a weight factor, much bigger.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, weight just so often gets blamed for things, and it's going back to that research. I mean, there are plenty of places where if somebody wants to, they can dig into that a little bit deeper. But it is, it's quite overwhelming when you look further, how the evidence isn't really there to support weight as being the problem, I think. just get such a bad rap. But it's forgetting that there are all these behaviors, and that's what the Health at Every Size approach is. It's about focusing on behaviors regardless of the weight. Anybody can explore healthful behaviors. We can, and especially for somebody who has this, potentially has a history with dieting or a negative relationship with food, taking the focus off weight can be a much more health promoting way to explore, preventing these kind of potential conditions, rather than just blaming it on the weight and just focusing on weight loss. Just look at the behaviors, focus on all the beautiful things that you can do that you've just suggested, which is great advice. Yeah,
exactly. And just remember that thinner people face these conditions as well, and their treatment is not weight focused. What's their treatment plan?
That's right.
And if it's going to work for them, it can work for everybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like those behaviors are valuable for everybody.
Yeah, so good. Such a good point. And I'm wondering what this actual condition is, because it's not, this member has mentioned a health condition that could possibly lead to potential problems. So, and I'm wondering what so she's saying that the only preventative treatment is to lose weight, and I'm wondering what is behind that evidence. what's the truth behind that? I'm kind of curious about that too.
Yeah, and you know what, there's so many factors for our health. Genetics is huge. Environment, diet, mood, health history, trauma history. Whether you're a pessimist or an optimist, like this, it's complex. It's complex. But yes, you do not have to focus on weight loss in order to improve your health.
That's right. That's the bottom line. And I think taking into account, if this person has got any kind of negative history with dieting and food, then focusing on that can be much more harmful than it can be supportive, So let's just focus on the healthful behaviors that we can, be in control of, work towards. That's great advice.
But this is a hard one to talk to about health practitioners. Many of my clients have done so, and it gets them, they get quite anxious about it and upset. So if you don't feel comfortable bringing this up, you can definitely make the point, though, that diets fail overwhelmingly and damage mental health. So the focus has to be on the behaviors.
I really appreciate that. I absolutely in agreement there, and I hope that this member feels some support coming through green here from us, and that this advice has been really helpful. It's certainly been helpful for me. So thank you so much, Kate.
My pleasure.
Appreciated. As always, we'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Thank you.
We can reach out to you on, I think, Instagram. You're on Instagram, right?
Yep, I'm on Instagram. Come and check out what I'm talking about, and lovely food I'm eating and the coffee I'm drinking at Kate Spina Nutrition.
Cool. Thank you so much, Kate. We'll look forward to seeing you again soon.
Yep, my pleasure. Bye.
Bye.